Although I was never someone who thought I would move to another country, that's what I decided would be the best for myself and my 12-year-old. And when, it is safe for all citizens to have equal rights there in America, that's when we will consider coming back. And I'm trying to find a home here in this beautiful country. And
would you let Rosie O'Donnell move to Ireland? I think she's going to lower your happiness level.
That's true. Thank you. I like that question.
Do you know you have Rosie O'Donnell?
No.
Do you know who she is? Do you know who she is?
Yeah.
I'm joking.
You better off not knowing.
You think Trump's had some bad days? Rosie O'Donnell just fired off a burn so savage that Melania completely lost it, and it all started with Melania's own tweet about learning from failure. The Orange Man has been feuding with Rosie for over a decade, but this time she hit him where it hurts. His marriage. When Rosie told Melania to divorce him, Trump went into full meltdown mode.
And a fraud.
Right.
It was no mystery to me.
Right.
So I didn't have him on ever.
What is it like? What has it been like for you having the president of the United States criticize your physical appearance? I mean, what has that done to you? Make you go bat crazy?
Well, I could say that when he first did it, when he wasn't running for office, it was like just this loser blowhard. Like, who really cared? But
Gas bag. The great gas bag.
which is a great book. Well, not only my physical appearance, everything. My sexuality, my parenting, my wife. Like, he went really bat crazy.
And we've got the juicy details right here. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video.
When he got to be president, it was very trippy. It took me about 6 months to regain my equilibrium.
Is that true?
I feel like I fell through the ice, and I just was waiting to resurface.
It's a badge of...
I don't really travel in his circles. It's not like I'm ever at Le Cirque and I see some Trump people. I'm a normal person who goes to the mall and the Cheesecake Factory. So Donald Trump's opinion of me, not really relevant. But
honored to be disliked and hated by this man.
Right, but to have it been done to you personally for a decade makes the PTSD fairly intense.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the one relationship in Trump's life that's actually gone the distance. Forget the wives, forget the businesses, forget whatever that furry creature is living on his scalp. Trump's feud with Rosie O'Donnell is the most committed relationship he's ever had. It all kicked off back in 2006 when Rosie decided she'd had enough of Trump playing moral police. There he was, the self-appointed judge of young women's worth in the Miss USA pageant, like some kind of ethics expert with a spray tan. Rosie wasn't having it. On The View, she went full savage mode, pointing out the absurdity of a multiple bankruptcy businessman with questionable hair lecturing anyone about standards.
There's the President of the United States that has it out for me and has for 20 years when I told the truth about him on a program called The View, where it was my job to talk about pop culture, politics, because of the show The Apprentice, where they sold a bunch of lies to America for over 10 years, and half of America believed it. And so he was very angry, to say the least.
Yes.
And I mentioned his bankruptcies, and I mentioned all of the sexual assault charges, and I mentioned that he was not, in fact, the businessman that everyone thinks he is.
The best part? She didn't just criticize him, she turned him into a national punchline. She mocked his financial failures, his ridiculous hair, and his bloated ego, all while millions watched and laughed along. Trump, being the thin-skinned man baby we've come to know, responded exactly how you'd expect, with playground insults that would make a third grader cringe. Loser, and other brilliant comebacks that definitely proved he wasn't bothered at all, no sir. What's truly amazing is how this comedy feud has outlasted practically everything else in Trump's life. His marriages, temporary, his businesses, bankrupt, his political career, a dumpster fire. But his obsession with Rosie, that's forever, baby. It's like she installed a permanent surveillance system in his brain. The man literally brought her up during presidential debates. Imagine having all that airtime to discuss policy and choosing instead to whine about a comedian who hurt your feelings a decade earlier. The thing is, Trump can't handle strong women who call him out on his nonsense. His paper-thin ego shatters shatters like cheap glass whenever Rosie lands one of her perfectly timed zingers, and she knows it. As Rosie herself has joked, she lives rent-free in Trump's head. While most landlords would charge extra for the amount of space she's taking up in there, Rosie's been squatting in Trump's psyche for nearly 2 decades, pushing his buttons with surgical precision. While Rosie was busy redecorating her rent-free Trump brain apartment, Melania Trump stepped into a comedy goldmine all by herself. Picture this. The former First Lady appears at the International Women of Courage Awards, giving a speech about women's empowerment. Yes, the same woman married to a man with more allegations of misogyny than he has terrible haircuts. The irony meter was already off the charts. But Melania wasn't done creating comedic opportunities. She decided this was the perfect moment to tweet about learning from failure and not letting failure define you. Talk about spectacular timing. Her motivational message dropped right as her husband was drowning in legal troubles and public embarrassments. It's like lecturing someone about fire safety while your house is actively burning down behind you. Social media users immediately pounced on the unintentional comedy. Here was Melania Trump, still married to the human embodiment of business failure, giving life advice about overcoming setbacks. Before Rosie even entered the chat, people were already having a field day with jokes about the First Lady's lack of self-awareness. Then came Rosie O'Donnell, a woman who's been sharpening her Trump roasting skills for decades. When she spotted Melania's tweet, it was like watching a comedy sniper identify the perfect target. Her response was swift, brutal, and devastatingly simple. She suggested Melania should divorce him, take your son and parents, and flee. The internet didn't just break, it shattered into a million laughing pieces. What made this particular comeback so powerful wasn't just that it targeted Trump, it was the implication that even his own wife should recognize what a disaster she's married to. It cut through all the political posturing and went straight for the personal jugular, suggesting that the person who sleeps next to him knows better than anyone that this is a man defined by his failures. Reports indicate Trump had a complete meltdown over Rosie's tweet. His thin skin, already stretched to transparency by legal troubles, couldn't handle the precision strike. The most telling part, Melania and her team went completely silent afterward. No comeback, no defense, not even an acknowledgement, just the deafening sound of no response. Let's be honest, what makes Rosie's takedowns of Trump so perfect isn't just the comedy, it's how she exposes the uncomfortable truths lurking beneath the orange surface. Her platform has become a spotlight that illuminates exactly what makes Trump tick, and boy does he hate it. Every time she pokes the presidential bear, his predictable meltdowns just prove her point even more. The beauty of this whole saga is that Rosie doesn't have to work very hard anymore. Trump practically writes her material for her. As long as his fragile ego keeps getting bruised by strong women who aren't afraid to speak their minds, Rosie will keep landing those perfect comedic punches that hit way too close to home. So grab your popcorn, folks. This isn't just a feud, it's America's longest running reality show and the ratings are through the roof.